Is going on, everybody? Hi, I'm back with another video, and today I'll be doing my way too early 2024 NFL mock draft. Been a while since I did one of these types of videos, and it's just something I like to do every year. I think it's fun, and I'll probably do another one after the Super Bowl. I'm gonna be doing the way too early 2024 mock draft, and without further ado, let's get right into it. For the Chicago Bears, I believe they will be taking Marvin Harrison Jr. The reason why I believe that is because I think Justin Fields showed enough flashes for him to stick around for another year. And in order for him to work out, they're going to need to give him some quality weapons, which is something Fields really hasn't had during his entire tenure with the Bears. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is almost a guaranteed success, and I usually don't like saying that, but he is really that good. He was really the entire Ohio State Buckeyes offense. I would say. So, this is a great pickup at first overall if they do want to stick with Fields for another season. And for the Cardinals, I believe they will take Malik Neighbors because they have Hollywood Brown. That's really about it when it comes to their weapons. And I believe they'll stick with Kyler Murray for another year because he's been injured most of the year. He's looked decent when on the field. So I believe they'll stick with him for another year, and they'll go grab the best wide receiver that's left on the board after Marvin Harrison Jr., which is Malik Neighbors. And I believe they'll help the Cardinals offense out a lot, just like Caleb Williams will help the Patriots offense a lot at third overall. And it's as simple as Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. With Justin Fields and Kyler Murray, you know they can be something. You know they have very good potential. But with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, we know they've probably already reached their ceiling. So, at best, they're okay. At worst, they're one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. So, Caleb Williams, although I believe he's a tad bit overrated, is still the consensus number one quarterback on a lot of scouts' boards, including the Patriots, I'd say. So, they'll take him third overall. And for the Washington Commanders, I believe they will stick with Sam Howell for another year, and they will take wide receiver Keon Coleman. They need a receiver. They don't need a receiver, but they want to give Sam Howell all the tools to succeed. I could also see him taking a O-lineman here, but I'd say they want a three-headed monster at that wide receiver position. They also kind of need a running back, but fourth overall is way too high to select a running back, so they probably would believe that somebody like a Trevion Henderson would be available in the second round. So they take Keon Coleman. For the Giants, I believe they move on from Daniel Jones and select Jaden Daniels and not Drake May, just because I believe that a lot of teams believe that Jaden Daniels has the highest, maybe not the highest ceiling, but has a higher ceiling than Drake May. I personally believe Jaden Daniels has the highest ceiling in this draft. I compare him a lot to kind of Lamar Jackson with a better arm. He just needs to, well, not a better arm, but with a more accurate arm. He just needs to slide more. And that's his potential, which would obviously be an MVP winner, possible Super Bowl winner, depending on how the season goes. But yeah, I believe Jaden Daniels goes fifth overall. He's my number one quarterback on the board. And yeah, the only reason I don't have him going third is because, like I said, my mock drafts ain't going how I think the picks should go. It's how I think they will go. For the Chargers, they have a bunch of needs. I'd say they just take Joe Alt here. But like I said, this pick could be totally different. I just think they'll take the best offensive lineman available that's on the board because that's really what they need. But they also need a lot of other positions, so I could see the 6th overall pick going a plethora of ways. By the way, there will be no trades as usual, as that just makes stuff too complicated for the drafts. For the Tennessee Titans, I could see them going a couple ways here. I could see him going offensive tackle. I could see him going wide receiver. And I believe that's what they will go. I believe they will go wide receiver Romeo Duns. Because, besides for DeAndre Hopkins, who knows whether or not he'll stay for next season, they don't really have any other weapon besides for Derrick Henry for Will Levis, and Derrick Henry starting to kind of slowly but surely slow down, at least in my opinion. So, especially if DeAndre Hopkins does go on to leave, they'll need a wide receiver, and Romeo Duns Roma Duns, my bad if I'm mispronouncing his name, could be a legit threat for them at receiver. But this could also be a pick where I could maybe see him trading up, maybe trading down or whatever here, but I believe that's who they'll take. For the Jets, they have a lot of needs. I'd say they take an offensive lineman here, Fashion Anu. My bad if I mispronounce that. Because they need offensive linemen. This offensive line for the Jets have been absolutely terrible, and ain't no way is Aaron Rodgers going to play behind that offensive line if he does decide not to retire, which I think he won't. And yeah, they just really need an offensive line, and they take the best offensive tackle available here. For the Chicago Bears, I believe this will be the first defensive pick of the draft, and they just take the best defensive player available. In this case, that'd be Dallas Turner, because the Bears' defense is obviously atrocious and not good at all, and they've already gotten Marvin Harrison Jr., so they really don't need another offensive pick till maybe the second round. And due to that, I believe they just take the best defensive player available in Dallas Turner. For the Falcons, there's a lot of ways I could see them going with this, but I say they go and take Drake May out of North Carolina. I think Desmond Ridder ain't the answer at quarterback. Taylor Heineke certainly ain't the answer, although Heineke may actually be a little bit better than Desmond Ridder, honestly. But neither of them are the answer at quarterback, and they got the 10th overall pick. Drake May, I believe, will slide this far down just because a couple teams you would think maybe need a quarterback will go wide receiver, and then the one team that doesn't need a quarterback will obviously take, which is the Pats, will take Caleb Williams. So I believe Drake May falls all the way down to 10, and the Falcons are able to snag him up there. For the Saints, I could see him going a lot of picks here, but I don't think they'll take a receiver. I actually don't even think they'll take a offensive player. I believe they'll go defense and select a linebacker, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's by far the best linebacker in this draft. I know that's a little bit of a reach, but that they need to work on that defense a bit. The defense hasn't been like downright awful, but it has been pretty bad. So Jeremiah Trotter Jr. has a lot of upside. Should be a solid player at the NFL level. And yeah, I'm excited to see if they will take him or not. Once again, there's a lot of ways this pick could go. For the Packers, I believe they're taking quarterback Terry and actually I think they'll take Kool-Aid McKinstry just because I think he's a tiny bit better than Terry and Arnold. Just off the pure fact that uh, the Packers' defense has not been great this year. It's objectively been pretty bad, actually, and they really need to fix that. And, unless they get maybe like a star cornerback or something in the offseason, which I sincerely doubt, they'll have to turn to the draft, and I believe they'll take Kool-Aid McKinstry 12th overall. For the Raiders are an interesting team because I could see this pick going a lot of ways, but I don't think they'll stick with Aiden O'Connell, and I think this is where J.J. McCarthy will go. I think J.J. McCarthy will go over. Here's what I think. I think J.J. McCarthy will go over Bo Nix just off the pure fact that Bo Nix would be like a 24, 25-year-old rookie. And McCarthy may have the higher upside compared to Bo Nix. But yeah, I believe the Raiders take a quarterback here just because I think they know Aiden O'Connell, although maybe deserves an opportunity to prove he's the answer. I don't think he'll get that opportunity of being the answer. And they'll take J.J. McCarthy 13th overall. For the Broncos, I think this is where either Michael Penix or Bo Nix will go. Now which one I don't know. I'd say Bo Nix just because the Broncos are still kind of in contend now mode. It's already been confirmed Russell Wilson is basically out of Denver at this point, so they'll need a quarterback. So I believe that's where they'll go to Bo Nix. They believe maybe he'll be ready as well to play immediately, which is something they obviously want. And yeah, because Russell Wilson's gone, and with that, they'll need a quarterback. For the Minnesota Vikings, this is a very interesting team here because I think Kirk Cousins will stick around next season, possibly. But I could see him taking a quarterback here, but for now, I'd say they focus on their defense and they take the best defensive player available. I know up here it says they need a safety, but I think they take the best defensive player available. And what I actually don't think is Tay and Donald. I think it's actually Jazon Newton. Actually, nah. We'll go off need because their D tackles is okay. And Tay and Arnold, they need help in that secondary. They really need help in a lot of their defense. Not even that it's been because it's just not been great this year. And like I said, I could see this pick going a lot of ways, but I think they'll just settle with a defensive player here at 15th overall, Tay and Arnold. Then we got the Arizona Cardinals again. Now, the Cardinals obviously took Malik Nabers with the second overall pick, so now I think they'll focus a lot on defense, and they'll take, and like it says up here, they'll take edge rusher Chop Robinson, just off the pure fact that, the defense obviously has been atrocious this year, which was expected, and just like in a situation where they take the best non-quarterback available early in the draft, they'll just take the best defensive player available, or at least best defensive player they can get in terms of need, and Chop Robinson. At 17th overall, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers, I could see them going a lot of ways here. I do think they'll take an offensive player, and they'll probably take. Oh, I just clicked on defense. Sorry, they'll take J.C. Latham. That offensive line, has been mediocre at best, and that may be putting it lightly. They've had a couple good games, but they've also had a couple really bad games. I don't think they'll take a quarterback here because at this point, besides from maybe Michael Penix, there's no real quarterback they can take. Plus, I think they'll give Kenny Pickett one more chance. But I could also see them maybe taking a receiver here or something, depending on how that George Pickens situation turns out. And yeah, for the Bengals, my Cincinnati Bengals, 18th overall. If we do get this pick, I believe we will take the best cornerback available, which, in my opinion, at this point would be Denzel Burke. But they'll probably take who they have the highest on their board, which would be Cooper DeJean. DeJean's been a lockdown at Iowa. Anytime you are starter on that Iowa defense, you're probably doing pretty well for yourself. And he's been a lockdown corner for an elite Iowa defense, or for the most part elite. So we'll take him. At 19th overall, we got the Buccaneers, who I believe will stick with Baker Mayfield, but I also believe they'll want to provide a weapon for him. So I believe we'll take Brock Bowers. And if you're wondering why, I'm hoping the Bengals takes Brock Bowers at 18, by the way. But I just don't think we will. The reason why the ideal pick here would be Brock Bowers, but I feel like we're going to rock with Tanner Hudson and maybe get another tight end in free agency. I hope that's not the case. I hope this pick is Brock Bowers. And then I believe the Bucks will pick up Brock Bowers 19th overall. But once again, I hope my Bengals take him 18th overall. It's just, I don't know if we will. That's kind of up in the air. But yeah, I believe the Bucks take Brock Bowers 19th. 20th overall, the Colts, they'll have Anthony Richardson back. They'll be ready to go. And I could see this pick going a lot of ways. But I think they will take wide receiver Brian Thompson. I don't know. I think there's three people they can take here if they go wide receiver: Brian Thomas, Lad McConkey, or Ibuka. But I'll say they'll take Brian Thomas Jr. Just take whichever wide receiver is highest on their board, make kind of a two-headed monster with Michael Pittman Jr. and Brian Thomas Jr. And I believe that could really work out well for them. For the Seahawks, once again, a pick that could go a lot of ways, but they'll probably just take the biggest position of need, which is offensive tackle or somewhere around there, and they'll take Troy. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. But they just be, like I said, maybe a bit of a reach, but I believe the Seahawks will be really going by need heavily in this draft, and that starts by taking an offensive guard, which Troy is. For the Jags, I believe they'll be working on their defense a lot, and I could see them going any one of these three here. And I believe they take the best defensive player available, who is one of these needs, which is D tackle Jazon Newton. I believe that they would really like to get Cooper DeJean here if they can, but in my mock draft, at least for now, DeJean is off the board, so they take Jazon Newton, which is a pretty decent, which could go on to be a pretty decent snag for him. at 22nd overall. Then you got the Rams, who I believe will take. I actually think they'll take an offensive tackle here. I agree with this, which at this point would be, I think, Talise is his name, because that offensive line has taken. I think it's been better than last year, but compared to 2021, even has took a huge step back, and they want to try to regain some of that stature that they had when they won the Super Bowl in 2021. So due to that, I believe they'll take him 23rd overall. For the Bills, they're going to need some help on defense, so they'll turn to Denzel Burke. I think he'll go before Nate Wiggins, because Denzel Burke has a lot of upside, and Kyrie Elam really just has not worked out at all. Tre'Davious White, uh, injured a lot of the time, and even when he's not, he's taking a pretty heavy step back compared to his prime. So they turned to Denzel Burke in hopes of uh, hopefully bringing back a elite defense, or at least a somewhat elite defense that can help him succeed. For the Chiefs, it's pretty obvious here. They'll take Adonai Mitchell at wide receiver. This is just, but although I could see them taking Xavier Worthy, but I think they'll pick him later, or if he's still on the board, and they'll just take the best wide receiver available in Adonai Mitchell, because, well, it's no secret that the Chiefs have had severe dropping problems. And it's not because Patrick Mahomes are throwing bad passes, it's because the wide receivers, especially Kadarius Toney, who will probably be cut after this season, or traded or something, depending on what they decide to do. So they'll need a wide receiver. And although I think they'll go for one in the offseason, I still think they'll draft one in Adonai Mitchell. For the Cowboys, I could see them going a lot of ways here, but I believe that they'll head over and take an offensive tackle and Amarius Mims. My bad if I mispronounced that. Just because, like I said, the O-line once again has been solid, but it hasn't been like top of the top elite in my opinion. It's been a good O-line, but not great, and I think Mims will really help them maybe take that next step. For the Texans, it's very simple. Keep racking up weapons for C.J. Stroud. They got one possible elite wide receiver. So why not try to add another one? And I think, and this may sound crazy because I know it says 52 here, I think Xavier Worthy goes here, 27th overall here. Hold up, give me. My fault. Hey, guys. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, Xavier Worthy. Like I said, they already got one potential elite wide receiver, and for C.J. Stroud, I believe, or for the Texans, I just believe it's building up weapons for C.J. Stroud to gear up for a possible run next year and in future years, because they have a really bright future. For the Lions, 28th overall, I have them. I know it says QB up here. For some reason, it says it twice. I don't think they're taking the QB. I think they're going to rock with Jared Goff, and they're going to go somewhere in the secondary. That could be cornerback, that could be safety. I believe in this case it's going to be cornerback, and what could be a possible steal in Nate Wiggins at 28th overall, because that Lions defense, mainly Lions secondary, is still questionable at best in my opinion. And obviously, if you want to be a Super Bowl winning team, which I believe the Lions could be next year, possibly even this year, but I don't think it'll be this year. I think it'll possibly be next year if they do win it. And due to that, I believe they'll just, rock with the best cornerback available, which in this case would be Nate Wiggins. And for the Miami Dolphins, have some. It could be in a situation where this could maybe be a luxury pick, but I believe that they'll probably try to either take an offensive attack or an offensive guard or a secondary here. And due to the best offensive guard being a potential second rounder, and Donovan Jackson, I think, could possibly go to him in the second round, I believe they'll take safety Cameron Kinchins here. Just because, and I don't think he'll start right away, but I do think they could maybe bring him in as kind of a developmental project, as I do believe Cameron Kinchins has a relatively high ceiling, and at least a big enough one for the Dolphins to take him in the first round. For the Eagles, I think they'll I do think that they'll take not a wide receiver here. I think they will take a cornerback here in Kalen King, and similar to Cameron Kinchins, I think they'll use him more as a developmental project than as an actual immediate starter. Because right now the defense is still really good, but obviously don't have CJ Gardner-Johnson anymore, who was a big part last year, and I believe that they could bring in Cameron Kinchins as a possible developmental prospect for them. For the Niners, they don't really have a lot of needs, but I will say they will probably take a cornerback, or actually, there's no cornerback they can really take. I could see him potentially trading out, but if they don't trade out here, as it says here, it says the biggest needs offensive tackle. They'll probably take Kinsley. I'm not even trying to pronounce his last name right there, just to develop him. Because like I said, for the majority of these teams, they don't really need true. They don't really need true immediate starters. They just need some developmental pieces for the future. For the Ravens, though, I think they will look for a possible immediate starter here. And they'll take, I know it says Quentin Mitchell from Toledo here, but they'll take Kamari Lassiter, cornerback out of Georgia, just because I believe that he probably has the higher upside compared. And plus, they'll probably use the one guy played for Toledo, the other guy played for Georgia, and just kind of go by that logic. But yeah, guys, this video probably won't be uploaded till tomorrow, or else it'll be a very late night upload. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, and when I get those activated, because for some reason they turn them off, I have to turn them back on. I have to do that like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're new. Turn on post notifications. On the road to 100 subscribers. We have 80 right now. We had a great live stream. I'm excited to do more. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, let me know if you agree or not. And yeah, stay safe. And bye, guys.